Do we have any oral communication?
Yes, but it's for the Hoover or discussion item.
Okay, great. Thank you. Moving on to item 9, bond program consent item. Can I please get a motion to approve the item?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, Will.
Item 10, discussion items. 10.1 is school plan for students' achievement SIPSA report for Hoover School.
Yes, good evening, everyone. This evening, we have our wonderful administration group from Hoover Community School who will be giving an update on their SIPSA report. And Liz, are you going to be, Liz is go. You're going to say a little something, and then you're going to put the slides up and you're going to help Lupa out. So if I could have you come forward, and this is the first time we've seen people in person in a long time. So if you, Lupe, I'll let you do the introductions. And do you need another chair? Okay.
And we should say that, I mean, if you're comfortable taking your mask off when you're speaking, that's fine with us. We've had speakers do that. So it's really up to you. Yeah. Because I know it's sometimes hard to give a presentation with the mask on.
So first of all, Lupe, do not be nervous.
No. 12 week crowd. I want to see you guys.
Microphone. Button on the one right here. Yeah.
There you go.
Testing, 1, 2,
Yeah,
3,
there you go.
testing.
There you
All
go.
right, there we go. Like, am I on? Good evening, trustees and cabinet, Dr. Baker. Thank you for having us here. My name is Lupe Guzman. I am the principal at Hoover Community School, and I'm here with my amazing team. I have John Michael Gomez, one of my VPs here with me. Josh Griffith, interim VP extraordinaire, who, has years of experience and is, guiding me all the time. And we have Ishel, Ishel Baltasar, our community school coordinator. Yeah. Sorry, let me put it up here so that I can see, because I'm a little, we'll share over here if you give us 1 second. Oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right.
So Lupe, let me say just a couple of things.
Mhm.
Okay. And then that's mine up there. So I can advance that unless you would like to share your screen.
Oh, no, go ahead.
It's okay. Okay. All right. So I want to also welcome our Hoover team here, who's an amazing team. And I just want to remind everybody, and I think everybody has already acknowledged this, that to be first is hard, right? And so they are very brave. And there were going to be other people presenting at the same evening as well, but they're the vanguard. It's all about Hoover tonight. So they were working up until just half an hour ago, finishing up some additional data for you. So I want to tell you about that in just a second as well. I know that our other administrators are watching tonight, and we're all going to be learning from the questions that you ask, what other kind of information you would like to have going forward. And if there's some information tonight that we don't have, because you're thinking of things as Hoover is presenting, we will make sure to get that information to you. But one of the things that we have added to the report tonight is after you have seen this report, which you have already seen, up until fast breaking news here, up until just a few minutes ago, the Hoover team was adding some additional information based on the conversation that we had last week about street data.
Great.
So there's a whole other slide deck that they have prepared to give information about student voice and parent voice and the activities at their school site based on the questions that you've had and the interest that you've shown in gathering this. So we'll learn from this conversation as well after Hoover presents both of these pieces of information, what you would like for the remaining schools coming forward, if you would like them to use the same slide deck with the street data, or if there's other things that you would like to have added to that. So sort of be thinking about that as you see the presentation about the next 11 schools that will be coming forward to you and how you would like that information prepared and shared with you. But I really want to thank the hard work that this team did, really just a short turnaround time based just on some of the conversation from last week until today to gather as much extra data as they have for you that they will be showing you after we go through this basic SIPSA report first. Okay,
All right, so we take it away.
take it away.
All right, so we're going to review our 3 goals, and we're not going to talk a lot about our data because you've already seen it. We'll just do a quick review. So goal number 1, we're going to have Mr. Gomez share.
So our first goal, as you know, is around suspensions. Can you hear me? There you go. Is around reducing our suspension rates at Hoover. And so this goal primarily, I'm going to go back one slide there, is focused around our social emotional learning and our behavioral supports, which target our suspension rates and as well as our chronic absenteeism. So moving forward there, Liz. And so as you know, the data is right up there. But just some of the key strategies that I want to highlight that we're doing at Hoover. First off, I want to say I'm very proud to be part of the Hoover team. So I'm a first-year assistant principal here. So learning a lot from my team here, and very excited to be here tonight too. And so as we're learning some of our targets, I want to highlight a couple of them. And again, if you have questions, we're definitely open to answering those along the way here. So as you know, our tier 1 supports are our universal supports, and these are our supports that all of our students at Hoover are receiving. And so a couple of key ones that I want to highlight are our social emotional learning curriculums. And this is our curriculum currently that it's called the Komochis. And so this curriculum is focused on our primary grades, which is our TK through 3rd grade students who are actively using this curriculum. And this curriculum teaches around teaching feelings, having students identify their emotions and be able to learn some coping skills around specific emotions. Another curriculum that we are using up in the upper grades is our Changing Perspectives curriculum. And this curriculum is in partnership with the San Mateo County Office of Education. And so again, this curriculum again is really about building community. And I'm going to talk a lot about building community tonight. I think we're all going to talk about building community at Hoover. And so this really focuses on kind of on our upper and our middle school grades. One thing that I want to highlight is also our Unity Day. And so again, in partnership with San Mateo County Office of Education, we were one of the first schools to bring Unity Day to Redwood City School District. And so this curriculum focuses on building community and building leadership skills among our middle school students. It focuses and highlights resiliency. It uses a trauma-focused lens, and it really was great to see so many of our students just step up and be leaders. And so we were able to build leaders, facilitate small circle groups among our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students. And so we had a lot of positive feedback, and you'll see later on in our presentation some of the quotes and some of the highlights from Unity Day. Some of our tier 2 supports, and tier 2 again is really focusing more on those small structured supports, some of those students who need more of that different tiered or more supports along mental health. And so working with our mental health liaison, Heather Springs, who couldn't be here today, she's really facilitating a lot of these mental health supports at our school. So we partner with Star Vista, One Life to provide a lot of more targeted mental health supports for our students who need some more of those social emotional supports. And so this can look like one-on-one counseling. It can look like group counseling. It could be some of the restorative circles that we're starting to bring in, and really just providing some of our safety net services, which Michelle will talk a little bit more about a little later on. And some of our tier 3 supports are more focused around our behavioral supports, our behavior intervention supports. And so we're lucky this year to have a part-time board certified behavior analyst really focusing on some of our students who really need some more of those intensive supports, who might need a behavior plan or a functional behavior assessment to really highlight their successes and figure out what's working. Another one of our programs is ESS, which is our Effective School Solutions counseling program, which is housed at Hoover. And this really focuses on our students who really have more intensive mental health needs. And so from there, we have these different tiers because we know that students thrive when they feel successful, when they feel heard, when they feel valued, and feel supported in the classroom setting. So having said that, we are looking at our data, have reduced our number of suspensions when we're looking at overall suspensions from one school year to the next and just comparing comparison to monthly. Right now, we've had 12 suspensions this school year. When we look at the data back from last school year, it was pretty high, and it was significantly high. When we're looking at our overall behavioral incidents, let me pull that up. Sorry. From the first 3 months of school, we had 26 total behavioral incidents, and now that we're in January, we're at 13. So I think a big part of that has to do with the fact that we've really focused on relationship building and community building among our students, staff, teachers, and community. And just another highlight too is some of our PBIS. And so this year we're really reamping our PBIS model to really just focus on some of those tier 1 supports. So we have a PBIS leadership team that I'm part of, along with our MTSS coordinator, our school counselor, and a couple of teachers. And so we've started small, but we're really working our way up. And so one thing, again, we'll show some of that street data and pictures later on. We're really just going through and just really making sure that our students feel safe at school, which is really showing a reduction overall in our suspensions and our discipline data. Just a couple of strategies that we continue to see not having a huge impact on our students is we want to stay away from the punitive model. So taking recess away, having students go to detention after school, or, the suspensions overall, we're staying away from that. We want to go to more of a restorative approach, something more positive. And so with that, something that we are considering changing again is we're working towards that restorative practice and trauma-informed lens. Staff members are attending training in this area, and we are trying to be as proactive as we can using this PBIS in our school-wide protocol.
And we're going to talk about chronic absenteeism, and I'm going to hand it off to Josh.
All right. Well, I'm kind of rusty, but I haven't done a board report in a number of years, but I'm happy to be back. And I've been working a lot with Antonio Perez and with students, parents, and the staff trying to lower the absenteeism rate. And we have some kids that have some serious attendance issues, and we are really working very hard to make sure that there we go. To make sure that they're coming to school and on time. And the chronic absenteeism definition is any student who is missing 30 minutes or more 3 times a year. And as you know, we're working more with the kids who are chronic, really absent a lot. And so we're just really trying to make them feel safe, welcome, and a part of the school community. And we do that through home visits and daily phone calls and picking kids up and bringing them to school when they don't have a ride, which a lot of kids, their parents are gone from sunup to sundown, and most of their day is spent at school up until 6 o'clock at night. But if they can't get there, they can't learn. They can't be a part of something. So we're really trying very hard to make sure that all kids are in school and learning. And so what else do we do? Let's see here. Samtrans bus passes we give out. They're free. The school engagement support plan, that's kind of when you're deeper into absenteeism, and that's pre-SARB, which is the school student attendance review board run by Antonio Perez. And when we get to that level, it gets pretty serious, but we don't have that many kids that get to that level, and we work really hard to make sure they don't get there. But when they do, there are things in place to make sure that the parents are responsible to get the kids to school. Daily attendance calls, home visits, all those kinds of things. How do we know? Well, our attendance has increased from about 90% to about 97% on site in school. And so, and that's in September. So we had a really, really good attendance rate, and we have, I think, a little more than 700 kids at the school. So we're about the biggest school.
That's awesome.
We're really making sure the kids are there, that they feel welcome, that they feel safe. And that's a big part of attendance. If they're, of course, have COVID or sick, we do want them to stay home, but we want them at school whenever they can be. Let's see here. You can look at the data. We have improvement targets. I'm sorry. This is ELD, pardon me.
So goal number 2.
Okay, goal number 2 is having the kids reclassify within 5 years of attendance in Redwood City schools, and we're doing pretty well right now. we are seeing a pretty good increase in kids who reclassify. We have, I think, 47 that are reclassifying this year as opposed to
57.
57, pardon me. As opposed to, I think, what did we have last year? I think 43 kids that reclassified. But we have some pretty good programs in place, even though we have a lot of new teachers. We have, I think, 11 new teachers, 9 of which are just interns. So we have a lot of really, really green teachers that are learning how to teach and how to, manage classrooms and that sort of thing. So right now we're working on having, a designated ELD period every single day where the kids go to different classes based on their levels of English language. And so that's working out pretty well. It's getting really underway right now. What else are we doing? Oh, got all these. Anyway, so we are working to reclassify as many kids as possible. I don't want to talk a whole lot about it, but let's see here.
I'll jump in there.
Finish off here.
So one of the biggest things that we've I forget. It's like turning off your mic, right? Or turning it on. I'm so guilty of that all the time. So one of the big projects that, as a former newcomer student, that is really important to me is making sure that our students that are new to our country, our international students, feel like they're part of our community. So we have developed a newcomer academy. In the past, sometimes students are placed in a self-contained classroom and they get all the academics that they need in the classroom. However, we're a community school and we want to make sure that our students are part of our community. They feel like they belong and that this is their home. That welcome home to Hoover is our motto. So they feel that this is their home. Our 3rd through 5th grade students are pulled out by our ELD teacher to focus on ELD and basic literacy skills in English, and also pulls them out for math support. In middle school, we have our wonderful Miss Donis, who's been with us for a while. She has 2 periods where she pulls them out. So she'll do an ELD period and an English language arts period with the students. And then she pushes into math classes because math teachers are experts in their fields. And our kids tend to have stronger math skills. It's just really about bridging the language that is in math and helping students decipher that language so they can figure out the mathematical problems. So that is something that I think our model at Hoover has been very successful. And we've actually transitioned reclassified a couple of our students who started 6th grade with us have now been reclassified. So as we know, when kids have a strong L1 language, transitioning to the L2 language is a lot faster. We also have poured in a lot of mental health supports to our newcomer students. The journey to the United States can be very traumatic, very difficult. And we know that when students don't feel safe, their mental health hasn't been addressed. It's very difficult for them to learn. So providing them with this group counseling where they can talk about their experience and just be in a safe place as they get to learn the United States has been very important. And then being able to give one-on-one counseling to those students who really need that intense support. We'll talk a little bit more about this during our street data. And so the things that we've found that have been helpful are the small groups, the circling for ELD with homogeneous groupings in the primary, the explicit instructional strategies that are used in particular in the middle school, the Newcomer Academy, and how we know this is because we've been able to reclassify 43 students last year and 57 this year, which is a good chunk of students over 2 years. So we're really excited to see where we go. What we would love more support in is, as Josh mentioned earlier, having our newer folk receive more training around the tier 1 instructions. And again, we've had a high turnover in staffing. And so coming together as a staff, calibrating where we're all at, and figuring out where the needs are is going to take us some time. And then prioritizing, what we focus on is also something that we need to assess and determine as we get to know our teaching staff and also our students better, post distance learning and during, well, is it an endemic now? So yes. All right, we're going to move on to goal 3. And you've, again, this is just the improvement of our students on state tests. We want our students to grow at least 1 level, if not a level and a half. And you've seen our data, so I'm not going to talk through it, but we'll leave it up there for a sec. But I will share with you some of our key strategies. So our students, when we look at this data, we look at where they were in, hold on. Yeah, if you go back, sorry, to iReady. We look at where they were in the fall of 2022, and we see that the proficiency level isn't huge. But again, we're coming back from a pandemic. We're coming back from students having to get very creative when accessing classes, when there's a lot going on. And what we're seeing is that our kids are growing quite a bit. And we just met with Kendall yesterday at our math PLC. And so she showed us a graph of how our kids are making growth, especially our students who are 3 or more grade levels below. They're making a year's growth already within that level, but you're not going to be able to see it here because they're, maybe they were 5 years behind and now they're only 4 years behind, or maybe they were 3 years behind and now they're 2 years behind. So for us, really, it's that growth model. If our kids are moving from the far below basic to below basic, yay, they're making growth, and we're moving them to basic and so forth. We have to celebrate those changes, and we're in it for the long run. This is a journey, and we will get there, but we will get there at our kids' pace, and also in a way that is safe, in a way that makes sense to our community. So when I think about where I started as a student and how long it took me as an EL to feel like, oh, I get it now, I'm proficient. That journey it took me a while to get there, but I got there. And then, well, here I am now. So that's the lens I come from. And so it may not be as traditional, and it may not be pretty in the data, but that's the reality of the Hoover community, with a majority, over 90% of our students starting school as English language learners. And so we need to give them that grace of the 5 to 7 years, and we're going to get there. So anyways, I'll get off my soapbox now. So some of the strategies that we used are the math PLCs, where we're really shifting our mindsets as educators from the way we were taught, where do the formula, get the right answer, to let's really think about what this problem is asking us to do and deconstruct the concepts, ideas, come up with innovative solutions. So it's not about the right answer. It's about figuring out how to get a solution. And it may not be the right solution, and that's okay. What did you learn in the process? And so shifting our kids' mindset from getting the right answer, which is what many of our kids want. They want to check their box and get the right answer. Yay, I did it. To teaching them how to be innovative thinkers and preparing them for who knows what's going to happen in the next 10, 20 years. We don't know what the world's going to look like. We don't know what jobs are going to exist. So we really need to give them the skills to figure things out and be creative and work with each other and come up with their own ideas and change the world themselves. And that's what Kendall is doing for us. She's really setting that groundwork for us as educators to shift in that direction. And teaching, rewiring our brains. She's amazing. So shout out to her. And so we're also obviously looking at the data. What is the data telling us? Where are the strengths and needs? Teachers have release days. We meet with iReady consultants. We look at cycles of inquiry, and we're really, this next round, really focusing on small group instruction. Now that we have a strong foundation and the kids are feeling comfortable in the class, we really want to focus on targeting instruction more with a greater intent. And obviously revisiting our tier 1 instruction, identifying what's really working for our kids and targeting those strategies so that we can teach our new staff those strategies that are effective for us. We have tutoring. We also have our SST and our 504 and all our other special ed service and our special ed services to support our students who struggle. We have pull out for RSP in addition to the push in when we see that kids really need to be pulled out, have that very small one-on-one maybe sessions to help our kids. And just, always looking to see what else we can bring to our campus to support our students. And so we know that certain strategies are working based on our iReady data and student grades and anecdotal stuff. Our kids tell us what they like and what works for them, and we're listening. And so we're changing what we're doing. Would you like me to, should we conclude with this? So the question was, what supports can you offer us? We would love to have, I love my interns and my guest teachers, and they're eager and wonderful people, but I would love to have more experienced teachers to help guide our younger folk in the work that needs to get done. Queen of the world here, we would love a literacy, a math, and ELD, and a new teacher coach or coaches. Professional development really helping us, and specifically something like DataWorks with explicit direct instruction. When I did it as a teacher, it really transformed the way I taught. And it wasn't so much about, it was more about integrating classroom management, checking for understanding, a lot of stuff that really works for our kiddos. And because we have so many new folk, this is kind of a quick way to get them to use great teaching strategies and incorporate what we already have in terms of curriculum and instruction at the district level. And if I had a magic wand, ELD curriculum, I know that it's really hard, that it doesn't exist necessarily out there, but a comprehensive program that really addresses addresses our students' needs. And I don't think that it exists. So I don't know what we could do as a district to kind of fill those gaps in. And again, I know that you all do the very best you can. But when we have so many new teachers, it's really hard to try to teach them everything at the same time. And it's sometimes nice to be able to say, here, just start working with this and we'll build your skills as we go. So we've had amazing ELD PD here over the years. I've been here forever and I learned so much. And, we have new folk who haven't had that opportunity. And also just getting all our vacancies filled. I know that right now it's tough. Teachers just aren't out there. There are lots of jobs and no people. So it's difficult when we're not fully staffed. Thank you. Yeah. All right. All right, we were going to start with the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but we weren't going to, that's just a joke. So if you go to the next slide, so here is our wonderful school after a rainy day with this beautiful rainbow, because somewhere over the rainbow you find Hoover. So we really take this next graphic to heart, because it really, as a community school, this really embodies the work we have to do to teach the whole child. And we were very intentional in focusing on creating a supportive environment and developing relationships at the beginning of the school year. The last couple of years have been hard, and lots of things have happened to all of us. We've lost people. We've missed a lot of school. It's been rough. The world has changed. And as a community, we needed to really ground ourselves and make sure that not only our students, but our staff and our families felt like Hoover was a supportive environment, coming home to Hoover, right? And that means that we also have to create deep, strong, trusting relationships. And I feel like we've done that. We've created a supportive environment. We've developed relationships, and we are now focusing more on developing those academics, because we know that when our basic needs are met, our brains are ready to learn. And I think we're there. And so we're gonna share some pictures and some of the programs and some of the activities that we've done so far to build the relationships, the environment, and work on academics.
All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about SEL and PBIS. And so some of the programs that I had mentioned earlier include our Komochi's program, our Changing Perspectives curriculum, our Golden Paw tickets, which are there down in the lower right corner. And this is kind of a catch you being good type of ticket. Our students have been really into it recently. Basically, if they are caught being good or doing something extraordinary, one of our staff members will give them a little Golden Paw ticket and recognize them. They get to come to the office, put it in a bin, and then every morning we draw 3 to 5 names. They get a prize for that. So our students have been really into that, even our middle school students. So we have raffles for that. Our morning announcements really creates a sense of community. We've been really consistent with that, bringing in students to come and read those announcements in the morning, having quotes, having music playing with them, really creates a sense of safety and just consistency for a lot of our students. Our class morning meetings, our students every day have a class meeting. Our teachers are expected to do a morning class meeting and just a quick check-in, a 5-minute thumbs up, thumbs down. How's your day going? A 1 through 5, just to really, again, create that sense of community among the classroom environments. For students who might struggle during lunch, we've started lunch bunch groups, and these are really just social skills groups that are structured with the counselor, and they're drop-in sessions where they can come into a room, play some board games, really get to know students more on a personal level while having a counselor involved in that classroom. I talked a little bit about middle school unity days, which I'll show some pictures in just a bit. We've also had some inclusion assemblies. We've had, was it the president of NAACP come and speak to our middle school, actually all our students, as well as Sam Dreisen, which is one of our partners in San Mateo County Office of Education, who came to talk more about diversity awareness for all our students and kind of his struggles as he gone through his childhood. We've had Inclusion Week, which one of our medically fragile SDC teachers coordinated, and really it was really cool to see a lot of our students just participate and welcome a lot of our students who are in wheelchairs, who have more medical needs, and just the welcoming environment that created at our school. was really great to see. Our Gender Sexualities Alliance, or GSA, really provides a sense for a lot of our students just to come and be allies for one another and to learn more about the LGBTQ populations, as well as, we've been doing some sixth grade yoga. One of our kinder teachers is actually certified in mindfulness and breathing techniques and has been going into our sixth grade PE classrooms to teach some yoga classrooms. And I mentioned before, we're starting with restorative circles and having more of our staff trained. And Ms. Guzman will talk a little bit more about SFSS in just a bit. But I just kind of wanted to highlight our Kramochi's curriculum there. Oh, if you go back there, Liz, that little picture of the stuffed animals, again, that's our primary SEL curriculum that teaches a lot of our students about emotional regulation and feeling identification. So if you go on, let's see here, we got some student quotes here. One of my favorites were the first grade students there. I like that they're cute, soft, and fluffy. Kamochi's teaches me to get better at knowing my feelings. Kamochi's is a good thing. It teaches me all about different sorts of feelings. Another one of my favorites was just I like Kamochi's because they make me feel good. That's another one of our kinder students there. So I'm not going to read them all, but if you go into the next slide there, I have a couple of quotes from a Unity Day. And one of the ones that really stood out to me was one of our 8th grade students. And that's that second one there. I experienced a very heartwarming, heart-touching moment when I was a student leader during the Unity Days. I enjoyed helping others feel welcomed and better. So it was a very powerful program just to see take place among our middle school students, but also all our middle school teachers participated. And so shout out to our middle school teachers who are listening here today. And it was really powerful just to see them participate in these activities. And it was just another side of them that students were able to see and witness and just be part of. So it was really great to see. Another one of our GSA member students, I like to go to GSA meetings because it's a safe place where I can speak freely without judgment. So that's taking place. I think it's every other week with one of our RSP teachers who's hosting that. So if you go on there, a couple more pictures for you all to see here. Our Unity Day pictures are up in the upper left-hand corner there. We have students facilitating those circles, which was really cool to see. And just some morning meetings that are taking place, some more SEL curriculum. In the center there, you have our Kamochis, our kinders hugging Kamochis there. And then in the upper right corner there, we have one of our inclusion assemblies. Our medically fragile students put on a Christmas show with the 7th grade PE class. And so we had the 7th grade PE students singing in the background, and there was a whole coordinated dance that was associated with it. So it was really cool to see. We also did Walk for Unity Day, or Walk for Unity, which was associated with Ruby Bridges. And we had all the school walk to school together on the field and kind of come in together. And that was, again, another really great experience for a lot of our students. So moving along here. You want to talk about the academics?
Yes. Okay, academics, just highlighting some of the strategies that we use, our NUA strategies, collaborative groups, Socratic seminars in the middle schools. We're bringing a new group called Young Astronauts from Stanford, who are going to be working with our 3rd graders once a month to do fun science activities, and we hope to grow it. I stole them from my daughter's school. I borrowed them. We have the Costco reading program. So as you know, Costco is right across the street. They have a reading program where they train their employees in their reading program, and then they can volunteer at our school. We have music for minors and the district program, of course, STEAM classes, PE Plus, field trips, Peninsula Bridge, we have some pictures here. I don't know if you all know Mr. I. Mr. I has been volunteering at Hoover for 23 years. Yes, 23 years. He is amazing, and we all love him. We have also at the bottom picture, you can see Kendall training our staff during our math PLC. Some of the quotes from our students. Let's see, one of our favorites. My favorite thing is that my teachers are understanding. They allow me to work and do my best. They make sure that I'm okay. That's just one thing that I like about my class. I like that my class is calm and hardworking. and let me try that again. I can't read. One thing I like about my class is the calm and hardworking environment along with the fun and educational activities. And so we have kids in the next picture. We have our 8th graders at the cemetery, Redwood City Cemetery. They walk and they adopt a soldier and they learn all about the soldier. We have our kiddos, our manufacturer students at Costco. We have a good relationship with them. We have Miss Addie Bellino at the bottom with her preschool students. And then we have students here doing some work. And then the bottom is a Socratic seminar. And our class is a family. So that's the environment we want to create, where our students feel like their classroom is a family. We're their second home. And I always joke with them, I'm your school mama. And we also have, in addition to the panoramic survey, we like to do other surveys just to get a pulse on our campus and see how they're doing. At the beginning of the year, we did an initial staff school climate survey where we talked to teachers about, what are the extra things you'd like to do? Would you like to be on the PBIS committee? Would you like to be on the Sunshine Committee? Do you want to be on the MTSS committee, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? We talked to the students about the dances and different activities. How would you feel? Did you like it? What would make it better? We also have an RCSD counseling survey that went out to all our kids, and then a community school survey. And then, do you want to talk about spirit activities?
Do I? Yes. We have put together, mostly John Michael. He has been really instrumental in putting together, building spirit at the school, door decorating contests every single month. And it's a contest and there's winners and, everybody gets to see all the doors. And it's just really a lot of fun. A Halloween parade we had this year. I think it's the first time we've had one in 3 or 4 years. And we invited the parents. Everybody came on campus. It was really special that day. The fall feast, this is put on by the 8th grade, and they made so much food and had this huge feast. All the parents and kids got together and the teachers and put together this great feast. There was so much food that they invited the 4th and 5th grade and even the 6th and 7th grade. So everybody got to partake of this fantastic group activity. It was really a lot of fun. Thanksgiving staff appreciations, holiday celebrations. We celebrate so many things at Hoover. It just builds the excitement and just the sense of belonging and fun. I mean, there's just this joy at the school. Come to the school and visit and walk through the halls and see what's going on, because you can really tell when a school is coming together and people are just feeling a part of something. They're calm and nice and polite and smiling. It's a very happy place. We have the spirit dress days, like a whole week, crazy hair day, pajama day, all these different things. You are all very familiar with them if you have kids, and I know you all do. Kindness week that was put on by our SD, or the medically fragile teacher. She put this whole thing together, and the kids showing kindness to it's special. Awards assemblies, celebrating successes, not just academic, but every other kind of success that we can find for the kids, and celebrate their successes. And then staff community building, and I think Lupe is going to talk about SFSS, which is really a powerful thing going on.
So, one of my goals coming in as a new principal was to also take care of my staff. Virtual learning was difficult for all of us. Coming back to the uncertainty of how things were going to be was very difficult. And we all worked extremely hard, and we had to put whatever was happening at home aside and come to school and take care of our kiddos the best we could. And sometimes we forget, I know I'm guilty of this, to take care of each other. So that was one of my big goals. We were fortunate to get SFSS to work with us in really helping us come together as a team of staff members and really doing a lot of bonding and getting to know each other on a personal level. So as we know, teaching is personal. It tugs at us, at our hearts, and every one of our kids matters to us. And so if we don't have each other to rely on, it's very difficult to stay in the profession. So we have to give ourselves permission to get to know each other on a more personal level. And SFS has helped us do that. We also need to really dig into our personal life and figure out how our lens and the way we grew up and the way we learned affects the way we teach. And so just like, you know, technology is changing and the world is changing in terms of what jobs we're going to in the future, the kids are changing and they're different than our generations were. So helping us do the internal work so we have that equity lens when we come to the classroom, but doing it in a safe space where we're learning together, where we're having those deep conversations, where we're having courageous conversations, where we're speaking our truth, where we're going to the source if we're not sure of, you know, if someone said something that may have offended you, but you're not sure where they're coming from. That space makes us stronger and allows for us to take risks with each other so that we can take those risks in the classroom, so that we can see our kids in different ways. So it builds that muscle for us to practice this with our colleagues. But also it builds a team and it makes us feel like we're together, which is super important. And aside from SSS, we've also done a lot of staff celebrations. We forget to celebrate ourselves sometimes, and we need to celebrate our staff. So we do happy hours, or we did a end of the year staff party, and just we've seen an increase of staff participating in the family events and just more smiles in general, which then brings more smiles to our kids, right? So yes. And here's some more pictures.
There's more pictures of us celebrating. We have a lot of pictures. We really try to document all of the different things we're doing. Down at the bottom left-hand corner, there's the fall feast that we held. In the middle down there, you can see the teachers are all smiling. We didn't even ask them to. And yeah, Halloween, just, you know, all the different things that we're doing just to involve the staff and the kids. And just, I mean, everybody really feels warm and cuddly a lot of the time at this school. I can really tell you that. That's good for that slide. Take it in.
So one thing that I'm proud of this year is starting our student council program. And so we were able to start a middle school student council program, which we haven't done at Hoover this year. And so we actually had a whole election week. We had a campaign. We had speeches, a middle school student assembly. We also had a town hall meeting where they got to debate issues that were going on at Hoover. And in partnership with the San Mateo County Elections Office, we actually had a real election booths where we were able to go pick up, and they brought them in, and we set up a whole room where students got to come in. We gave them a little voting sticker at the end, and it was really awesome to see just a huge turnout and just teach students about democracy in general. And so we have middle school student council, who was really pivotal in just planning our spirit days, some middle school dances, kindness week, which is coming up next week. We have friendship grams coming up in for around Valentine's Day. We've also been starting having a lot of our 8th graders step up and do some additional leadership opportunities. So participating in as kindergarten aides in the classroom 1 day a week, or as office aides. So that's been really cool to see. And then we also have had many of them participate as our leaders for Unity Day too. So if you go on to our next slide there. This was our election week student council there. And so we had them all dress up. We had donations of suit and ties for a lot of our students who couldn't afford them. And so we got a lot of donations with just kind of dress up clothes. And this was the first time that they really put on a suit and tie and got to speak in front of their peers. And it was really neat to see. And you see our election booths back there. So that was awesome. The next slide. We had our vice president and president wrote a quote here. Our president said, being part of the student council allows me to make decisions that can improve our school. And then our vice president there said, I joined student council because I wanted to see change in my school. I believe I can achieve that in a respectful and organized manner. As the vice president, it is the responsibility to ensure everyone feels safe and included, or welcome and included. So some really powerful quotes there from a lot of our student leaders.
Señorita Ishel.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I apologize in advance. I'm a little nervous. It's my first time presenting at a board meeting, but I'm excited to be here. So thank you for the opportunity. So some of the extended learning programs that we have at Hoover are BOSSI, which stands for Bay Area Women's Sports Initiative. PAL, Police Activities League, El Centro, they offer prevention education classes on drug and alcohol abuse, and they also provide support to the families. We have Boys and Girls Club of the Peninsula, Casa Círculo Cultural, Friends for Youth, which is a mentoring program. And in these extended learning programs, the students have they have student choice. They do workshops and sports. If you allow me, I have some data to share. So currently we have 213 students enrolled in BGCP. In PAL, it's a smaller program. We have 55 students enrolled. For BOSSI, we had 55 students enrolled last semester. We're starting, they're coming back this semester as well. For prevention education, we had 10 students enrolled, and Friends for Youth, we had 15. So in total, we've had 348 students participate in the extended learning programs.
Next.
And if we could just go back real quick, just want to highlight a couple of things. So we have BGCP up at the top, PAL down at the bottom, and then our drumming class is performing. It's really cool. You should go out and see them. And then BOSSI is up at the top. They just had an assembly. When was it? Today. We're trying to recruit for this next semester, and we had over 80 girls wanting to sign up. So the word is out there that BOSSI is the way to go. So we're very excited about that. And so our next steps for our student voice is to increase student choice in projects and events. We're creating a student council survey to get more information. We would love a PBIS student store. So we're going to make it happen somehow. And continue to explore additional middle school SEL curriculum, something that is more engaging and relevant specifically to them. There's a ton of curriculum out there for our primary grades. We just need to do a little bit more exploring.
We got a lot of positive feedback from Unity Day. And so it's our hope to work with the county office again to bring them back to do some follow-up sessions. Our leaders, when our adult facilitators are leaving, our student leaders are going up to them and hugging them and saying, oh, please come back. We're going to miss you. And the relationships they built during that week was phenomenal. And so we want to continue that as we go along also.
And so now we talk about parent voice. So I'm going to hand it over here to Miss Shell.
Sorry, can I? Okay, so here are two parent quotes. And these quotes were pulled from the parent survey that we conducted at the Family Center. So the first one is from a Hoover 7th grade parent. They have oriented me a lot in the Family Center. I am new in this country and therefore, excuse me, I am unaware of many things related to education. And in this meeting, the parent was referring to the newcomer meetings that we have for families that are new to the country that have been here for less than 2 years. They have provided me with many resources. And the second one is from a Hoover 3rd grade parent. Thanks to the Family Center for the support they gave me and my student. I would not hesitate at all to ask for help since they helped me. Thank you. And then Some meetings and committees that we have are monthly cafecitos, English Language Advisory Committee, also known as ELAC, School Site Council, conferences, SSTs, 504s, IEPs, and CESPs.
And we have Robin here talking to our teachers and adding Cafecito about math at home, what you can do to teach our kids just fun math activities at home while cooking, while cleaning, just think at the grocery store, just really cool tips. And also, we have a lot of, we're building our relationship with Redwood City PD and working with them to make our neighborhood safer and making sure that our parents' voices feel heard and that they feel that they can advocate for themselves, for their community, and that the police is a safe agency that they can go to. And they've been instrumental in helping us clean up the Hoover Park. So it's great.
So here we have some volunteer opportunities for our parents and our families. We have the fall feast. Sorry, excuse me. We have our monthly second harvest. And I also want to share some data. So since the month of August up until now, we've serviced 1,183 families that come to our monthly second harvest, which is at the school. They also have the opportunity to volunteer in the classrooms, school dances, and school events. Some of the family resources that we offer are mental health services for our students, and also for our families, our parents. We connect them to outside agencies. We also provide safety net services, and that includes food, housing, medical, uniforms, and backpacks. Also school supplies, parent surveys, migrant education, Familias Unidas, and adult English as a second language classes. And then, I'm sorry, I wanted to share more data. So since the beginning of the school year, we've had a total of 621 visits to the Family Center. 34 of those have been from parents, 66 of those have been visits from students, and 3 of our top students who visit the Family Center are 5th graders with 20.8%, 8th graders coming in second at 19.6%, and 6th graders coming in at 14.5%. And then here we have a picture, of our Hoover counseling request forms. So both parents, caregivers, and students can request counseling.
Sorry, passing the mic left and right. And so we have really also focused on having more community events, bringing us back to Hoover, reconnecting our families to campus since they were away for quite a bit of time. So we had a big maze days. We had 2 maze days. We had a ton of families come through. We had back to school night. And we had a really big turnout. Lots of families were really excited to be on campus, excited to meet their teachers, excited to see each other. PAL hosted a town hall meeting. A group of us went to the town hall meeting to share our concerns and talk about the needs in the Hoover community. We had our Halloween parade, the Walk for Unity, the Winter Festival. We're working on a family literacy night. We're bringing back Dia del Niño. Yes, you're all invited. It'll be lots of fun. Our open house should be a big success. We're also starting some fundraisers. We're working with Chuck E. Cheese because our kids love going there. To bring in some funds. We also have parent support groups, the One Life and the PAL support groups, the Parent Project, Familias Unidas, again, they host some events too, and then our safe routes to school. And here you have a couple of pictures, just, our families enjoying themselves. They're volunteering at our winter festival with all the food donations that they brought, and also just enjoying the food. At the bottom, you have a picture of all the staff. After the performance, we all had to jump on stage and take a group picture because, of course, yeah. And then Halloween. This year, we decided to do something silly. All the staff dressed as superheroes. And we had a pretty good amount of teachers dressing up, which kind of created a funner environment, and it got the kids all excited. So we are really looking forward to having more events. Here's some more pictures. The picture up the top corner is our back to school night, where we are we're introducing our staff, pictures of our winter festival, Halloween. The bottom corner, our SDC medically fragile students dressed up as superheroes also. And so they geared up their wheelchairs with their favorite superhero. It was fantastic to see. So just a lot of fun and having good times. So our next steps for our parent voices is create more feedback forms. We want to have room parents, do more movie nights where they organize it, and hopefully by the end of the year have a parent university like we did years ago, where we just bring together different workshops of things that they're interested in, flower arrangement.
Tamale making.
Yeah. Oh, I like that one. How do I get my kid to get up early in the morning? I'm just kidding. But anyways, so thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed our presentation and learned more about Hoover.
Thank you, everyone. And I'll let you guys go first if you guys have any questions or comments. Oh, yes, okay,
Did you want to? Okay.
please, thank you.
Kevin Sugar.
The teachers. Right.
Hello.
Hello, Kevin. Go ahead.
Can you hear? Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. What a wonderful presentation. I want to thank the board for paying such wonderful attention, and our administration for doing a wonderful job. I wanted to just make some comments as a teacher that's been at Hoover for quite a while. I started back at Hoover in 2008 and seen a lot of changes through Ms. Rothingast and through Mr. Carranza. I want to, while they're still sitting there, I want to show my appreciation to our current administration and the incredible work that they are doing with our kids. The inclusion that when I say inclusion, I don't just mean student, but including us teachers and staff as part of this Hoover family. The atmosphere that's been created this year is, for me, just outstanding. I can't thank them enough. There's always issues when it comes to education. We're a human organization, and human has their flaws, but overall, this year has been really started off great. Lovely kids. My 8th graders are absolutely fabulous. We're just, it's been a really, really nice year. Just a pleasure to be coming to work every day. And I want to thank you and everyone else who makes those decisions for us. I look forward to the next few years together with the staff and administration. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Kevin.
So there's a hand raised. Do we want to go ahead?
There's no speaker card, but we can call her.
I'm sorry?
There's no speaker card, but you want me to put her up?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
Sure.
okay. Let me make sure. Yeah, Christy.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, I just want to say thanks to Kevin because he pretty much echoed everything that I wanted to say. But I have been at Hoover since the Josh Griffith days, and that's 21 years. 21 years, and I've been through quite a few administration teams. And the last few years have been rough for all of us. And I am so hopeful and so grateful to the team that we have right now. And that includes Mr. Griffith. But Lupe and John Michael have really done a fabulous job from day one at bringing the staff together, bringing the community together. And like Kevin said, it's a joy to come to work. It feels good to be at Hoover again, like it did back in the Josh Griffith days. And it's just a place that I really enjoy coming to, and that I'm committed to staying until I retire. So that is a big shout out and kudos to our admin team and to everyone that helps make it happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment.
No more hands up, no more speaker cards.
Thank you. So if you guys want to go ahead and.
A quick question. Do we have a copy of that street data deck?
We will.
Okay, that'd be great. The Socratic seminars sound awesome. I want to know more about them. I would be very interested in how the Kimochis teach emotional regulation. I would love to find out more about that. That'd be really cool. Yeah, that's all I got for right now.
Yeah, so well, first of all, thank you very much. That was such a great presentation, and thank you for rallying the street data part of the presentation and all the photos, because I think it really makes it real in terms of what you're doing at the school. And I just want to say it's so clear in your presentation, and certainly the comments we just got from the two teachers who I know both of them, and I know they've been around for a long time. Hi, Kevin and Christy. Thank you for speaking tonight. It's pretty clear how much you care about your students, families, staff, really bringing in the partners to support the Hoover community. I love the coming home to Hoover tagline. That is awesome. We know how important it is for all of our families to feel included, all of our students to feel included. But I think for a community like Hoover, who's gone through a lot, like you said, the last few years, everybody's gone through a lot, but certainly some communities were hit harder than others. And I think, we want to recognize that and own it and value it. And I love how you talked about, particularly coming back this year, giving a lot of grace and getting to know each other and care about each other and, all the social emotional stuff. And, I firmly believe that we are only as good as how we feel about ourselves as how we relate to others in the world. And so I'm really happy to hear how much focus you're putting on bringing the staff together and really getting to know each other and support one another. We know how hard it is to be a teacher, to be an office manager, a principal, a vice principal, a community coordinator. I mean, to be, it's a very giving profession. You're on 24/7, you're there fully, and the better you can feel, the better you can be for your students. So thank you for that work. That really stood out for me and what you talked about. And I just really feel honored to have heard it tonight and to be a part of what you're doing there. And I will be getting out soon to Hoover. I need to get out there. And I do want to leave some time for other of my colleagues to talk about things. The other thing I did want to say, I was really happy to hear, really moving to a restorative approach. I just feel how important that is. I mean, we have all these little guys, little gals, little folks who are learning, right? And we're all learning, right? And we all have an opportunity we all goof up in life. And it's really important not to be punitive, but to say, hey, what did you do? How can we support you? What did you learn from that? How do we forgive one another? How do we make I can't think, how do we make amends? How do we move forward together? So I really like that approach. I think it's going to help with your suspension data, your chronic absentee days data. I think at the last meeting or a meeting before, we talked about how important that chronic absenteeism. So thank you for talking about that and the way that you did. And I think what you're doing will help. Home visits, I mean, whatever it takes to get the kids to school, right? So thank you, because if the kids are not at school, they're not going to be learning. So that's just a basic. We need them at school, right? So anyway, I want to leave time for my colleagues. I've got lots of notes and I'm very excited about all sorts of stuff. So I'll talk to you in person more when I come out for a school visit. So thank you very much. And thanks to the Hoover community, I see some of you here on the call tonight, and I just want to give a big shout out to all of you. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, Lupe, John Michael, Josh, Michelle, thank you so much for first being the first, to come and present this, of course, but really about all the work that's going on at Hoover. I heard some common themes through the whole presentation around inclusion, around creating safe spaces, and restorative, as Elisa pointed out. And the theme that kind of came through that I was just really resonated with me was just joy, right? There's a lot of joy that I can feel from the way you're presenting and what you're telling us, the joy that you're trying to bring to the school. And one of the big fears of coming out of the pandemic is that we would get just so anchored on like learning loss or something like that we would forget that kids need to be able to come to school and really enjoy being there. Because when they have something that they want to come to school for, they're more likely to want to go. And awesome job on that attendance rate. That's a really significant move up. So that was really neat to see. I can see that there's some things that we can do at the district level for being able to focus on maybe thinking about how our staffing strategies are working and what we can do to support a school like Hoover much better. And I'm sure that we'll be talking about those going forward. So I'm glad that you called that out and presented that and shared it with us, because we hear it, but it's so much more important to hear it directly from the sites. So I appreciated hearing that. And then in terms of the staffing development, one of the things that we've heard is like how challenging it is to get professional development time for teachers. The PLCs sound awesome. Kendall came and gave us a whole presentation on what's going on at Hoover. Like, that sounds incredible. What I was curious was, are there other strategies that are working given the constraint of substitute teachers that we have now? We know that release time is probably the most successful rate that we'll have for professional development, but I wasn't sure if you had other things that you were doing that you were finding were successful for people coming to do the PD.
Would you like me to answer now? Sorry, of course, my phone is connected to my computer. I don't want it to go off again. We are trying to create as much time for teachers to be able to talk to each other. And whenever we can, if they want to go see each other, we will cover classes if we can. We are also working with trying to bring the English only teachers and the bilingual teachers together more so that they are working collaboratively. And we're kind of going back to basics. So I'm really a firm believer in less is more. So let's just focus on these things for right now, get them, figure them out, get them to work, and then moving on. So the beginning of the school year, it was really, let's get the classroom management systems and protocols in place, and let's create community. That's our focus. And because when kids feel safe, when you have a calm school, there's more learning. Getting the morning meetings in was really important. Also, just getting the basic curriculum. So we know that we have the expert teachers who've been with us for a long time. They kind of mentor other teachers and help them set up their classrooms, talk about, okay, well, why don't you try this? Also, we have our staff development, Mariela and Laura have been instrumental with a lot of our new teachers that are in the primary grades. Just really help. And Meg, oh my God, Meg has saved us. She's amazing. Thank you for giving her to us.
Honorary Hoover member.
She is. She's a Hoover teacher. She won't deny it. So making sure that we create supports wherever we can for our new folk. And also, like I said, going slow, establishing our reading blocks, our writing blocks, our math blocks, and then digging in a little deeper. So with the iReady data, what we did is let's just look at the data, look at where our kids are, and highlight some areas where we could focus on. And now what we're doing with that data is, okay, now that we got that in place, now let's start looking at the small group instruction, especially for those teachers that are new. Our veteran teachers, they're pros. They could just, do it with their eyes closed. But our newer teachers, they needed that grace, as you said, to help them transition into the new year, figure out the systems and protocols, and then scaffolding the instruction for them too. I'm not trying to be condescending, but this is what helps, right? When you're coaching your teachers. So those are some of the things that we've done. We're also looking at some, especially with math, we're looking at what are the strategies that are working for our kids. And so being more intentional when selecting specific strategies that we can use during math. So bringing in more hands-on activities because our kids do better with that, bringing in more opportunities for our kids to be critical thinkers, and working on bringing in the student voice and choice. In the middle school, what we've seen now that we're a little bit smaller and the team, there are more team members that have been together for a while, is for them, it's more of the fine tuning, and they are collaborating more closely across subject areas within grade levels. And so they're talking about groups of students and how they can support each other's in their subject areas. So that's been a really nice thing to do. And also like Kevin Sugar mentoring some of our new folk, and James Carrig also doing the same thing for some of our younger teachers.
Great, thanks. Thanks for sharing all of that.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I know it's hard to go first, and you guys did a great job. I think a lot of what I was going to say has already been touched on, so I'll just highlight a few things. I think starting with the joy that Mike was talking about, that was very clear in your presentation, I think was just underscored by your teachers that came and spoke after you did. It's just very clear like how much work you're doing there and the community building that's really, really working. So thank you for that. Really happy, like Elisa mentioned, to be moving more towards restorative justice and away from the punitive. We know that the punitive discipline doesn't work. Talk about taking recess away from kids for discipline. Then they just sit on the wall and they go back and they don't get their wiggles out. So then they go back in the classroom and they're, even more squirrely. So I'm happy to see moving away from taking away recess. I'd like to see that across the district happening more. Really good job on the attendance. I was really happy to see that. I know that attendance has been rough with the pandemic especially, but it's just moving from 90 to almost 97% is huge. So thank you for all the work on that. I have notes all over the place. Oh, one of the slides that I think was most significant for me was the final one on what more do you need from the board and the district office to support your work. I expect that's going to come from all of our school sites, but as a board and Dr. Baker, I think this needs to be one that we really take to heart and don't just gloss over, because our school sites and administrators know better what they need than we do. And I think these need to be part of our conversations every time we get together. How can we provide this stuff that they know they need? So thank you for putting that together. I know it's hard to come before a board and say, I need all this, but I appreciate seeing that. And then lastly, I think I would be remiss not to comment, because you put the picture in there of the 8th grade field trip to the cemetery. Most of you don't know, I'm not just vice president of the Redwood City School Board, I'm vice president of the Historic Union Cemetery Association. I lead private and public tours, and I couldn't be there the day that Mr. Sugar and Mr. Mullaney brought their students. But we're actually, as a board, there's a few of us that are actively working on putting together field trip curriculum. So we've got principals and teachers in the audience. If you're interested, the cemetery was founded in 1859. There's a lot of rich San Mateo County history there. And we have Civil War veterans that when the war ended, they moved out here. There's a whole plot that's just for that. So I'd be happy to talk to you. You all know how to reach me. Thanks for that plug.
That's great.
Kevin, did you hear that?
So again, like everyone said, thank you for the presentation. It was great. And it's actually really good for us to hear really what happens at the school sites, right? I do want to say high five to Lupe. We go back to 1988 at McKinley. So I'm very proud of you, because I still remember that kind, smart girl, and look where you're at. So, and then talk about being nervous. We get nervous too. We're just regular people, you know, perhaps with the title. I just want to let you guys know that it was great to hear from you guys. And again, I did write a lot of notes. I'm going to ask you my questions and then I'll give you my comments after. So when you guys talked about pulling students for ELD and math intervention, I'm wondering, when does that happen? What classes are there in when they get pulled out for those services?
So it looks different for middle school and for the primaries. In the primaries, because we have such a large English language learner population, the teachers at each grade level circle within their grade level. So for example, second grade will divide all their students into homogeneous groups, and they will go to different teachers and get instruction at their level. For the students who have reclassified or initially proficient in English, they will have projects or other things that they will do. In the middle school, we have a part-time ELD teacher that pulls the kids during one of the during one of the periods.
Great, thank you. And then when you talked about the need for more help and your tier 1 instructions, you talked about new teachers and training. You also said that if you had the magic wand, your wish would be for a more comprehensive EL curriculum. And like you said, it doesn't exist, but then maybe you guys have such wonderful teachers. Maybe, obviously, I'm not a teacher. You guys can work together and do come up with a curriculum that actually helps the kids, because you guys know better what helps them. And then you also mentioned that you wanted to give a shout out to Kendall. And as Mike said, she did give us a presentation and she is wonderful. And I also do want to say, I want to give a shout out to all the teachers who are willing to be open to teach in an innovative way. And I applaud you for building your community, because you guys talked about building the students' community, but with you talking, and I'm sure you as a team, building the morale, I think having a good relationship, again, you get a lot more of not just teachers. I mean, you're a kid, you don't have to really bribe them. You just have to treat them right and show them love and affection, and you'll get what you want from them, right? And then you kind of hit the nail on the head when you talk about less is more. And I kind of have to agree with you, because to me, quality versus quantity. So you always want to be able to get that, one or two things and get the right things out of it, instead of working on 5 or 6 or 7 items that you may just get a little bit and really not get a lot of what you really want to get. I don't even know what to say because I'm nervous myself. So again, I just want to commend all of you guys for, again, having the passion to teach and be there for your students and your teaching staff, as well as your classified staff, because of course we always have to make sure that, yes, they are also important, because without the teacher's aid, the teacher can't do their work. So I really do want to thank you guys, and I'll pass it on to Dr. Baker.
Lupe, I'm going to take you back to last spring when we had a conversation. I didn't know what way that conversation was going to go. I definitely wanted you for this position, but I know you had questions, you had concerns, and you asked me if I could give you some time to think about it. I know you thought very deeply about the situation and how you wanted to make changes. I said I couldn't promise you that you would get everything you wanted, but we would definitely support you. I want to thank you for taking on this position. It was not an easy position to take on. We all know that. Thank you, John Michael, for stepping up to the plate and coming to Redwood City. I really appreciate that. I want to applaud all the teachers who are at Hoover. I'll get there in a sec. I want to applaud, all the teachers that are Hoover that it shows a difference just in, it's not even a year on the changes that have occurred at the site. Yes, Josh is back. As we always say, you retire, but you never get to leave. Right, kind of. Are you taking that truck and picking up kids? Don't answer the question. And the community school. It started many years ago, and thank you for also coming and being the coordinator. I know it's a new experience, and it's very different for you. But Lupe, and taking into consideration that you wanted to definitely bring your staff together, make sure that they had a true understanding of one another, and to build through that equity lens with them is a big plus. This is something that doesn't happen very often, and you don't have teachers coming forth on a night like tonight saying that they applaud you on moving in that direction. Because I know where that staff is coming from at this point in time, from previous conversations and previous emails that I received. So you keep it up. We are definitely still looking for the second assistant principal. John Michael, it's not that you're not wonderful and moving forward, but we're looking for and we know Josh is on that retirement. What we don't like,
Can we bring him out of retirement?
it would be great if it would work. So that is not forgotten. That's not forgotten. It's still posted and so forth. And we are trying a different system also, platform. But I want to say to yourself and to your team, what a difference. What a difference. And it hasn't been a year. I know when we started in the fall, and Liz is running the office, they need more support. They need more support. And yes, Meg Grulick is a Hoover, as she started there at Hoover. And back in the day when I was there as a principal, I hired her. And what you're talking about, the strategies of the circling, the ELD, the reading, we did that many years ago. And it was a true manner to make students progress at a different pace, where they felt comfortable. They felt sure about themselves and how they could move forward. So I applaud you for bringing that back. Sometimes old strategies do work quite well. And not for all, but in this case, I can see it happening. So I'll get off my soapbox, but thank you so much for taking the position, because I was really concerned that I didn't know if you were going to take it or not. There was another position out there that you could have had, not with us, but we were very fortunate that you stayed in Redwood City. So I applaud you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm homegrown. I can't
I
leave.
know you are.
And thank you to my team. This is us. This is together for everyone.
And your staff. Your staff
Yeah.
is
They're
working
the
very hard.
team. We're the Husky pack. Go Husky pack. Oh.
You're done. Thank
Thank you
you.
guys. Have a good evening.
Oh, yeah.
Was it your daughter or your husband? Oh.
Right. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You wanted Max. So that was a good idea, Lisa. That was a very good idea.
So moving on with the agenda, 11 consent items. Item 11, consent items. Can I please get a motion to approve? And again, this is including 12.2 through 12.6.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'm not even on the agenda.
Item 12, action items. 12.1 is recommendation regarding adoption of resolution 22. Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Redwood City School District certifying all proceedings in the November 8th, 2022 general obligation bond election.
Good evening, members of the board. Tonight, we present Resolution 22, certifying the election results for Measure S at the November 8th, 2022 general election. The information contained in the resolution is also the certification from the County of San Mateo as well. With this action, this will start the process for other milestones in the Measure S bond journey, including bringing back within 60 days a resolution for the Citizens Oversight Committee and some other items that will be taking place in accordance with California law. With that, I'll turn it back to the board.
Are there any questions from board members? No?
Should we make a comment? I feel like we should say, thank you.
Excited.
Yeah, thank you to the Redwood City voters. There was a loyal band of Measure S committee, election committee that worked really, met super frequently, did lots of door knocking, pamphlet stuff. That was meetings with the community, super helpful. Measure T showed what amazing things that this district can do when the community comes out and supports it. And you can see that every time that you go to Garfield, Taft, or Hoover, or Orion, right? Where our major sites, but really all our sites got modernization efforts. And so every time you walk onto a campus, you can just see what amazing things this community supported funding does. And Measure S provides another one. And so, I'm really looking forward to see what this local funding can do to help dramatically improve the experience of Redwood City School District, the students, the families, and the staff, everyone that engages with district properties during the day. So thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Oh yeah, I'll move to approve it.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 13, Board and Superintendent reports. Who wants to go first?
I can go. Mine's pretty quick. I did attend a virtual town hall that was put on by Redwood City Together and the San Mateo County Office of Ed, and it was about the childcare needs. And I know there was a big splash in the newspaper. You probably saw that and some emails that came out. But basically, they've just finished off a big report that looks at the childcare needs and the gaps for 0 to 12-year-olds. 0 to 12-year-olds in our county, and then also specifically to Redwood City. And the good news is Redwood City Together, the collaborative that we're involved with, is going to be looking more closely at the Redwood City data and the North Fair Oaks data, of course, the areas we cover, and think about what more we can do working collaboratively together to help fill that need. And as we know, particularly high quality childcare is really, really important. That 0 to 3, those 4 and 5-year-olds, and then, it kind of takes us up to middle school. So it's basically all of the kids and all of the kids that we eventually see. So anyway, I'm very excited about it. It is very sobering when you look at the gap. And of course, it got worse over COVID. So there's a lot of work to do. And then they actually asked questions about our school district. So I was glad I was on the town hall and I was able to just provide just some basic information about what we're doing with after school care. Because that's a part of their report too, is after school care. So anyway, that's it.
So I attended with Janet the logo committee, the last of the logo committee meetings. Thank you, Jorge, who facilitated the meeting. This committee selected 2 logos that are going to now move forward to the sites. Yeah, there were some final revisions from the 2 that were selected last time.
When do we get to see them?
Yeah, so that's what I'm getting to. It now goes to the administrators at the site, and it's going to later come back to the board after the sites get a chance to see how those logos will work with what they want to do, make recommendations there. It's later in the school year. I want to say towards the end of the school year, but I don't remember what the exact day is.
I'm sure you can see them if you want. They would be shared with the kids. Right? Can you see them, or are we not letting that happen?
If you make an appointment to see Jorge, I'm sure he'll somewhere.
I'll sign an NDA.
It's not,
All right. Since last week, I managed to get in tours of Garfield and Taft, and that takes me to 11 out of 12. Clifford had been scheduled for Tuesday, and then I had a childcare emergency, so I stood up Jude for a second time. Poor guy. So yeah, I'm rescheduling with him, and then I'll have completed my first pass of the district. I actually got some outreach from one of the charter schools that they were like, "Hey, come see us too." So I may start broadening it to come check out some of the charters as well.
I just have the logo committee.
And I don't have anything to report. Dr. Baker?
I don't have anything either at this point in time.
Okay, so moving along, item 14, information 14.1, quarterly Williams report, second quarter, October 2022 through December 2022. Any questions? Great, thank you. And then 14.2, contract update information and credit card summary. Any questions? No. And then 14.3, information on San Mateo County Investment Fund. And no questions either. Thank you. Correspondence?
That's kind of amazing.
Okay. Item 16, other business suggested items for future.
Actually, I'm sorry, I just remembered. I think we all got the invitation to some Mandarin immersion events coming up around the Lunar New Year. So yeah, I think that's about the only correspondence I saw. So it's always nice to get invitations to things from the school site. So that was great.
I had that aha at the same time you did. I went, and you went.
Okay, so then item 17, board meeting calendar. Are there any changes to the calendar?
Just a reminder about Friday, 11:30. And yes, order your lunch.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone.